standing in our beautiful, renovated sacristy. We got the new cabinets on each side and the island here in the middle. Of course, a lot of people remember this as the original cry room at St. Aloysius. You can see through the glass door there and the window through on into church. So it was a good place to view Mass with your kids that were maybe acting up in church. There's the tabernacle again. You kind of see out into the sanctuary. But today we're not going to focus so much on the sanctuary or the sacristy as this hole in the ceiling that maybe some of you have noticed over the years. So again, I know a lot of people don't come in the sacristy, but those that do have often remarked about what's this hole in the ceiling. And I'm thinking about one individual who sometimes works our camera. So if you ever sit out on the Narthex, this is the TV, the audio-visual stuff to be able to work the camera. That shows the picture out in the Narthex. And we have people that periodically, take care of running that during the Masses. And one of them remarked, I'm thinking of you, Joe Boyle, how they'll be here, and when the bells start to ring, they'll start to get stuff that's falling out of this hole on them. And you see there, that pink stuff, that's actually some insulation. And up there is actually the mechanism that rings our church bells. So that's actually what is up that hole. And we're going to actually attempt to show you what is up there. So I'm going to turn the camera off so that we can climb the ladder safely and see you topside.
All right, welcome back. We are on the top of that ladder. I can actually show you down here. That's the ladder. I don't know how well you can see that or not because it's really tight up here. So I'm still on the top of the ladder and we are now above that paneling in the sacristy. So we're looking off to the right. That pink stuff is insulation. There's an antique oil bottle there, oil can. Looks like some kind of ductwork, the rafters, and then directly in front of me, so here's the ladder. That's the top of the ladder there. There's this gear, and this is part of the motor that rings our bells. That's directly in front of the ladder here, and then kind of up and off to the left is another part of that mechanism. See how I can show you that? Again, I can't see how well you guys can see that. Let's see. There you go. So that's part of the bell ringing apparatus as well. And some of the different framework. That is a brick wall. This is kind of cool, kind of directly in front of us. That is a wind tunnel that goes back towards the nave of church. We are facing, I'm on the ladder, I'm facing Summit Street right now. So the whole body of the church is actually in front of us now. And we would bring you guys up here, except there's nowhere to stand. Like the only place to stand up here is on these wooden beams between the insulation. If we step on the insulation, we'd go through the ceiling. So not a whole lot to see up here actually, but a lot of people were saying, hey, take us up in the attic, take us up by the bells, and well, hey, we heard your request and we took you as far as we could go. So hope you appreciated this inside look. Yeah, so kind of is what it is. Interestingly enough, you'll notice there is that light, so there is the ability to actually come up here and work on stuff, but basically have to be an acrobat to do that well. And let's see. Give you a kind of a picture back there, what you can see there. And hey, can't say we didn't try, so thanks for joining us up on the roof. And now is the part where I try not to fall off the ladder.
All right, everyone. We're on the second floor of St. Aloysius School. That's the music and Spanish room down the hallway of the junior high grades. So we've just kind of finished up our little expedition on the bell tower, and we're looking around for other things to potentially explore. And we're up here on the second floor of the school, and you may have remembered at the end of our last video, Brian mentioned something about doors that we don't know where they go. Right? So for some of you, you know that is the door to the elevator in the school. And maybe some of the school kids were curious, what is behind this door right next to the elevator? Well, it looks like we've got some of Mr. Sattler's cleaning supplies. You got some vacuums, some rotos, and then there's this ladder. What goes... Brian, I think we have a hatch up there.
I think that is a hatch itching to be opened.
Well, I think we should open said hatch.
Maybe we should go up?
Maybe hatch a plan to open the hatch. All right, you check that out. I'm going to turn this off, and we'll maybe see you all topside. Okay, so that's the hatch. We just came up, and we are up on the roof of the school. So literally, I'll prove it to you. See, down there in the hole, that's the roto and the vacuum cleaner and stuff that we saw down there. So we literally came up the hatch, and we're up on the roof. So Brian, why don't you go ahead and close that so I don't inadvertently fall down the hatch. Let's take a look at what we can see from up here. So I think that tower way off in the distance, that's what's that? That's the
library.
Or is that the administration building?
No, that's admin.
That's the administration building, and I think down over here through these trees is the library back in there. So that's the admin building, BGSU. Okay, so then we've got courthouse over here, Wood County Courthouse. I'm going to zoom in on that. This thing's got a great zoom. Now, of course, we're giving away to people what time they're up here with zooming in on the clock tower. And then I wonder where the Falcons have their nest, Brian.
Yeah, me too.
So for those of you who don't know, for the last 10 years, we have had peregrine falcons that have hatched in the clock tower. And if you want to check it out, go on BGSU's website, and they actually have the falcon cam that's inside where the nest is at, and you can watch the falcon and the little baby falcons. They're all white and fluffy, they don't really look like falcons. But definitely take a look at the BGSU falcon cam. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, what are we looking at down here? So for here we've got the courtyard, which, Brian, I think this is one of the cooler places that not a lot of people get to see, actually.
Yeah, I think this is by far my favorite place on our campus.
So here is the courtyard between the two wings of the school. So this would be that's the junior high wing, and this is the wing that has, like, I think what, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and also the computer lab. So it's this green space between the two wings of the school. That building there on the end, that's Clare Hall Chapel. There's a little concrete slab out there with picnic tables. One of our Marian shrines. Bill Nichter does a great job keeping the flowers watered, and he plants flowers in the spring and summer as well. Good job by him. And then also, there's you can see the back side of the playground from over here. And then the green space across the way next to our parking. So yeah, now sometimes obviously the school kids are familiar with the courtyard. We also use it for Vacation Bible School. Some of the games will be held out there. It's kind of it's an enclosed area. You see the fence a little bit, but it also is outside. So let's swing around over here. And what do you think? Is this a rubber roof, Brian, you think?
Yeah, yep, and as you can see over here...
This is really interesting.
Yeah, I got a lot of gravel.
Yeah, this is really strange stuff. So we had to ask some questions about... Actually, go ahead and pick some of that up, Brian. I mean, these are big chunks of gravel here.
These are gigantic, heavy.
Yeah, so literally, both of these wings, I'm going to swing around over here, this one too, you can see it also has the gravel. Both of these wings have all this, really like literally tons of gravel up on the roof. And I was talking to our director of maintenance, Mr. Sattler, and he said this is what is known as ballast. And it kind of serves a twofold purpose. One being it protects the rubber roof from UV rays. Otherwise, the damage caused by sunlight will eventually cause the rubber to become brittle and break and then leak. So the gravel basically protects it, or at least cuts down on the UV rays.
And then it also serves the purpose of helping literally to keep the roof on. So like if one of these corners of the roof were to start to peel or whatever, the wind would literally be able to rip it right off. So the gravel is, I mean, literally, there is a ton of weight on this roof. So the gravel keeps it from blowing off if that were to ever happen. I mean, here in some places, I mean, this is like 6-8 inches deep gravel up on this roof. So I wonder how they got this all up here. If anybody has any information on how they got gravel up on roofs, we'd love to know. And then over here, this is the roof above the gym. And this used to have gravel on it before they replaced the roof. Obviously, when you replace the roof, you have to take the gravel off, and it was not replaced at the time. Brian, what do you think? What are all these different caps?
Yeah, so these caps that have the hoods on them, these are vents, and these little lobes here, these are the skylights that you see in the
Oh,
wall.
yeah. It's interesting to be on this side of them. They're actually domed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and on this side, of course, we got another ladder.
Another ladder over here. Now, Brad, how would you describe? I mean, walking on this rubber roof is kind of an interesting experience.
Yeah, wobbly, not very much. Just the leather, the rubber, I'd imagine, on top of the roof.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say, like a little squishy, but
Yeah.
not like you don't feel like you're gonna go through it.
No,
but
not at all.
definitely a kind of an interesting, almost like walking on a bounce house or something.
Yeah,
Not quite
some
that.
kind of rubber floor, like turf.
Yeah. What do you know, folks? Another ladder.
Yeah, and over here, we're now over top of the hallways leading to the Narthex.
Right, the hallway between the Narthex and the school. Climb on down here. Turn around. And jump. Alright. So, hey Brian, look what we happen to be next to.
Yeah.
Our nemesis from earlier today.
Yeah, the bells. Yep, and as you can see, those gearing mechanisms that we looked at earlier
I think they attached
are
down here.
attached to these cables. And the bells themselves don't actually ring, but if you look up top, there are hammers that hit the bells.
Yes, it no longer actually swings, but it's struck.
And that is what those cables do. They pull the hammers to hit the bell.
Almost read what's on there. It looks like a Bowling Green, Ohio. Oh, there it is. The St. Aloysius Church, Bowling Green, Ohio. So while we couldn't get in the bell tower from bottom, inadvertently we get pretty darn close to the tower here from up on the roof. Well, you really get the color of our tile from up here. The tiles of the roof.
Gorgeous style.
And I believe this dome, that would be like over the sanctuary inside a church. And then this great design that goes around. Colors and shapes.
Brickwork too.
Yeah, I don't know if they can see that, but if you see, folks, the different colors there's actually bricks at different levels. The bricks that are a little darker in color, they're actually sticking out just maybe like a half an inch or so. There you go. You can actually see it there. Yeah, that goes way beyond my ability of Lego stuff. And then over here, this would be the Clough Street parking lot. Rectory. For those of you who don't know, that's actually the rectory. That's Father Tom's house, right across the way.
Send him all the mail you can.
Yes. He does not a big fan of junk mail, but it would be entertaining to just watch him go through it. Why are people sending me all this stuff? All right, so now this is intriguing to me. So, what? This is the entranceway to the Narthex, right?
Yes. So this dome is the raised ceiling on the Narthex.
So I'm going to give people a little tracking shot here, just to kind of show them where we're at. Okay, so here you're looking out over the parking lot. There's the Wood County Courthouse. So we are standing here. This is right below us is the entrance to the school. The concrete apron leading up to the campus and the Narthex parking lot. I think it's hilarious. It doesn't have shingles on the backside.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's for. I imagine it's so you can get up to the top without having to replace the roof. But
I have heard that these clay tiles are very fragile and you don't really want to be walking on them, so that could be the case. But who would ever know? Like, I mean, from the front it looks like it's got the tile all the way around it.
Yeah.
So you would never know. All right, so we're gonna do a little track and field jump over this wall here. Let's see. I imagine some type of heating and cooling for the Narthex. So all those people that complain about the Narthex either being too hot or too cold all the time, these are the culprits. Up here, you even got a walkway around the different stuff here. Oh wow, we can get right up close here.
Yes. And you can see the stained glass window from the outside here.
Oh yeah, let's go check that out. So this would be the Marian side of church, or if you're in church facing the altar, on the left side. Stained glass windows. Again, with almost zero color from the side.
Yeah, tragic that you can't see the colors from the outside, but
You need sunlight coming in, right?
exactly.
And here's a little up closer of that brickwork. Let's see. Again, I don't know. Depending, you can see I can actually rest my finger on that. So again, there's a depth there, about half an inch, maybe just a hair more. That just seems incredibly complicated. Some of those designs, and above those designs, you'll see it's flat, but below it, it's that artistic brickwork. Up close to the shingles here.
Yeah, and not many notice the flower work and lovely grass beside our church.
Oh yeah, here we go. I'm gonna take a step to the right here, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the flower, again, kind of a place that gets lost because, right, you're either coming in the Narthex over here, or you're coming in those doors. You're not really, like, checking this out back here.
Yeah.
Fresh mulch, provided by some of our parishioners, I believe, earlier this month. Looks good, and some greenery, so there is hope for spring.
Yes.
Gutters. Oh yeah, and then there's the gas line back here. Probably why we don't want people going back there.
Yeah. Of course, the...
Oh yeah, that's a good shot of the bell tower from the other side.
Absolutely.
And then some of you may wonder too, I'm going to swing around a little bit, looking at the bell tower, that there's been something new that's been added to it. To the very top, let's take another step back here. Of course, now the sun's going to come out, draw out my picture. But the very, very top of that, there's a metal rod that extends, probably 6-8 feet above that. That is our new lightning rod. So the bell tower has been struck, I think, at least multiple times by lightning. And so over the last 2 summers, a sophisticated lightning rod system was installed. So yeah, you're not seeing things. There is something new actually up there. I think it's also hilarious that our tower gets struck, but when the courthouse is right over there, it is much taller than us. So
Yeah.
some just really bad luck. You'll notice that the front of the church, this is the Summit Street doors, there's that cross, and just every so above that, that's a lightning rod that extends a little bit above the cross there. So that lightning rod has already been there, but the new one on the bell tower itself. So we're looking out towards Summit Street. Swinging around here, let's go back over here. Again, stained glass windows from the other side, not nearly as impressive. Up here on the roof. Boy, you better start out doing these right, or you're going to be in a world of hurt when you get to an end.
Yeah.
Let's have some blade just so. Alright, let's go over here. Again, heating and cooling. The back side of this Narthex is cracking me up.
Yeah.
I wonder if it is, so yeah, you can go up there without worrying about breaking anything. Let's see, over here, looking out towards the parking lot. Of course, you can see the backside of it, the very famous Bowling Green Taco Bell. Often we are mistaken for Our Lady of Mount Chalupa. We are not. We are St. Aloysius. But I believe, last I heard, that is the #1 grossing Taco Bell in the world. It's also really cool with us being a test market. We get all the test Taco Bell products before they go nationwide, which is really cool. All right, actually I'm over here. I'm going to show you up close again with that gravel. Again, you see there's a pretty good layer of that gravel
very
going
thick.
all the way down. Yeah, it's not just like two stones on top of each other. I mean, there are metric tons of gravel up there, which is really interesting. So, wow, I wonder where those windows are. Is that? It's got to be in the school somewhere. I wonder where those windows are. So we're in the hallway.
Yeah.
Those would be above the hallway, so we wouldn't actually see them from below, I don't think. Let's go over here. Jump the wall again. Hurdles. Alright. Wow, the sun decided to come out, right?
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Alright, you know what? You go up the ladder first. And this thing that looks like a smokestack chimney literally is, I believe, right down here. We have an incinerary for garbage that we don't use anymore, but I'm trying to see. There's a hatch down there. Yeah, that hatch, yeah. That hatch you can throw like paper and stuff in, and there's a burner in there. And back in the day, you probably used to burn trash and paper stuff. We don't use it anymore, but yeah, that makes sense because that comes right up here then.
Yep, and the chimney is covered.
Which would make sense, so the water doesn't go down there. Yeah. And I've heard from Mr. Sattler that is actually in working order. It's just, yeah, and we actually have the license or the go-ahead from the EPA to use it, we just don't, so it may be an intriguing adventure for us another time.
Perhaps.
Alright, let's climb up here. Take y'all over here just to finish out the roof here. Oh, the sun feels great. Spring it's on the way. Okay, so again, that would be Clough Street there. Sanctuary Dome, Clough Street parking lot, and then down over there in that corner would be the entrance to the parish office. Preschool across the way, of course. The rectory. Actually, you can see the library from here. It's actually hard for me to see the screen right now because the sun is blocking it out. But I believe through the trees there, you can see the BGSU library as well.
There is heat coming off that.
Coming off where? Oh, here?
Stack here.
Yes, I believe right here we're above the school boiler room.
Yeah.
So that would make sense that there would be heat coming out of this metal stack here.
Yeah.
We might have to check out the boiler room someday.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else up here, Brian?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything.
We've covered the roof. All right, so we're gonna go back to our hatch. Hopefully this thing doesn't have an auto locking mechanism for the inside, or we'll be stuck up here. Whoa, this would be a great place to start getting an early tan up here. I think we might make use of this newfound area in the future. All right, so down the hatch we go. We'll catch you on the bottom side.
So what'd you think?
I think we survived episode 2.
I did. I think barely.
So I feel like we've gone like as high as we can go as far as the
highest heights. What should we do next?
I mean, the kind of the logical next step would be the lowest of the lows, right?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I mean, because we've gone up inside the organ in the choir loft.
Organ, highest point inside the church.
Right.
We've gone as far as we could go in the bell tower.
Right.
And now we've gone as high as we can on the school.
Yeah. So I think there are literally multiple basements in this place. So I'm thinking that may be the least logical place to go. Now, interestingly enough, I didn't know whether you guys noticed this or not, but we were up on the roof. You didn't see a whole lot of Brian
in the shots because Brian actually has a fear of heights.
I am horribly afraid of heights. I cannot stand them. Staying away from the edge as much as possible.
Despite the fact that you're an airplane pilot.
Yeah. Yes, despite that fact. Terribly afraid of heights. Not of airplanes.
Not of airplane, just... So it's... Yeah, it's not a flying thing. It's
it's like... It is like being on open water. Being afraid of open water, but on a boat, you're fine.
Yeah.
Just like in an airplane.
Yeah. So a little interesting fact we learned when we were up
The
there.
first attempt.
Also, you notice I was the one on the ladder when we were crammed up inside that bell tower trying to...
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So I think, unless we hear back from you guys, we've explored some things. What other places are you curious about learning? Any other unopened doors or secret crevices or other things you'd like us to... Other harrowing adventures we could possibly entertain you with.
Yeah, but I hope you've enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully, if we're able to stay safe and don't have too many harrowing adventures, tune in next week for the continuing adventures of Mike.
And Brian.
See y'all.